basically a video about the new A10 Warthog after upgrade. So this is about our favorite Burr plane. Apparently got some kind of a new upgrade that I'm unfamiliar with. So let us see how the A10 is now even more Burr.
Dubbed the A10 Warthog for its aggressive look and often painted with teeth on the nose cone, the A10 Thunderbolt II is the U.S. Air Force's go-to low-altitude close-air support aircraft. The A-10 is maybe the most famous for its fearsome GAU-8 Avenger 30mm Gatling gun mounted on the nose and has been a workhorse for the U.S. Army for decades. Let's have a look at what else makes it so special. But before we get started, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more just like it, remember to give us a like and subscribe to Military World to get more sent straight to your notifications. The plane has excellent maneuverability at low airspeeds and altitude, plus it's a highly accurate and survivable weapons delivery platform. Its main advantage is it's able to loiter near battle areas for extended periods of time and operate in low ceiling and visibility conditions. On top of this, the wide combat radius and short takeoff and landing capability allow operations in and out of locations near front lines. Using night vision goggles, A-10 pilots are able to carry out their missions around the clock. The A-10 Thunderbolt goes by many names. It is also known as the Warthog, the Flying Gun, and the Tank Buster. Its first ever flight was in May of 1972, and a total of 716 aircraft were produced. Its first in-flight testing began
look at how skinny that nose is, comparatively speaking. Like, look at how skinny it is. Like the first iteration of it. It looks almost anorexic compared to the modern day one. It's kind of funny.
1974, and it was pushed to the limit in a variety of flight profiles, from as high as 25,000 feet to as low as 100 feet, and from speeds ranging just under 155 miles per hour to nearly 480 miles.
Yeah, baby Genius, that is pretty fucking crazy. Like, to fly a plane wearing NVGs versus having onboard night vision in your systems. That's your depth perception kind of goes out the window a bit, more than a little bit when you're wearing NVGs. So trying to fly with those fucking things, those are some pretty fucking skilled pilots. Like, just trying to drive. I've heard of people who cannot drive wearing NVGs, let alone fly. It's not, I wouldn't say your depth perception is gone, but it is significantly limited. That is for absolute sure. It is significantly limited. Yeah, it's everything I've heard says it is not fun to drive with NVGs.
Per hour, which ranges between 250 to 773 kilometers per hour, and up to 5 Gs. The initial production of A-10 aircraft came to an end in 1984. Originally manufactured by Fairchild, since 1987, the prime contractor for the A-10 has been Northrop Grumman, which is responsible for support and structural upgrade programs from the Integrated Systems and Aerostructures divisions at Bethpage, New York, and at St. Augustine in Florida. The Warthog has received many upgrades over the years. In 1978, the aircraft was fitted with a Pave Penny laser receiver pod, which sensed reflected laser radiation from a laser designator. However, this has now been discontinued and replaced with more capable advanced targeting pods. The Thunderbolt began
Did they mention when that laser receiver pod was put onto it? Because I distinctly remember, if anybody ever saw it, the first Transformers movie, because let me rewind and see if it says when it came off. 1978. Okay, so and they said it was since replaced. Because if you remember, back in the very first Transformers movie, and I am not 100% sure, but based on his description of that pod, it sounded like it was a laser guidance type of pod. Now, I don't know if this is the same thing or if this new upgraded weapon system is what I'm thinking of. But yeah, so Kaiser, you know what I'm talking about. It's the first scene where the Air Force Special Forces unit engages Scorponok in that little town in the middle of Qatar, in the middle of the desert in Qatar. And when the two A-10s are coming in on an attack run to basically fuck up Scorponok, they laser the target with their weapons. They have laser targeting systems on their weapons, and they put lasers onto Scorponok. Which, if I'm understanding the tech correctly, I would have thought that that would have been the purpose of the original laser pod. I'm not sure about their upgraded weapon system now. So, I don't know if they're going to talk about it shortly here in the video about this upgrade weapon system, if it does the same thing, only more accurately, but that's the one thing that just stuck out to me.
And replaced with more capable advanced targeting pods. The Thunderbolt began receiving an inertial navigation system in 1980. Later, the low-altitude safety and targeting enhancement upgrade gave it computerized weapon aiming equipment, an autopilot, and a ground collision warning system. Just before the millennium, the aircraft began to receive GPS navigation systems and a new multifunction display. In 2005, the entire fleet of aircraft began receiving the precision engagement upgrades that included an improved fire control system, electronic countermeasures, upgraded cockpit displays, the ability to deliver
Okay, can I just say,
electronic countermeasures.
holy fuck. Holy fuck is this confusing looking. From someone who is not a pilot? Yeah, from someone who is not a pilot, if I was to sit in this cockpit and they were to tell me to fly, I would be fucking terrified. Like, this alone, forget the flying aspect of it for just a moment. The fact that these pilots know what all of these what all these mechanics do and how to use them, that is fucking impressive. That they know what all of this does and they can on instinct use it. That is impressive. And yeah, a small little cushion on a metal bench. Yeah, this is deeply impressive that they know what all of this does.
Measures, upgraded cockpit displays, the ability to deliver smart bombs, moving map display, hands-on throttle, and stick and digital store management, amongst other improvements. One of its main features is the Gatling gun we mentioned.
Dova, I would 100% rather fly my Asp or my Dolphin in Elite than have to try and figure out all those controls on that A10. 100%.
Earlier. The 7-barreled monster was originally designed to fire upwards of 4,200 rounds per minute, but has since been reduced to a still impressively high 3,900 rounds per minute.
I missed that. Hang on. And yeah, Kaizo, yeah, if you're talking about how many lasers they painted Scorponok with, yeah, they painted Scorponok with something like 5 lasers, completely unnecessary. They needed one. All they needed one, but it didn't look as cinematic. Having just one laser, it looked more cinematic to have the whole fucking squad paint Scorponok with lasers. So it was all for cinema. It was Michael Bay, for God's sake.
Barreled monster was originally designed to fire upwards of 4,200 rounds per minute, but has since been reduced to a still impressively high 3,900 rounds per minute. Each of the 30mm cartridges that are spat out of the GAU.
Well, Yardog, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they nerfed it because it was probably cooking the barrel. That high of a rate of fire was probably causing damage to the barrel and requiring the barrels to maybe get swapped out too often. because it was heating him up way too fast. And, they probably wrote, and it was probably limiting how many runs that they could do before requiring. It's Albert, you are partially right where it was screwing the plane's lift. I mean, that's been a staple. Is you can only fire these things for so long before you have to stop, or the airplane will crash due to lack of lift. Uh, but I'd say, Doc, you're probably right. Ammo conservation, but also damage to the barrel. Because if you're spitting them out faster, the barrel's heating up a lot faster, and that can cause can cause warping. So I'd say it was probably a combo plan of barrel damage and conservation of ammo, so they could partake in engagements longer.
8 is larger than a typical beer bottle, and it takes 2 hydraulic motors to spin the barrels, all of which shake the aircraft and produce clouds of hot gas. Everything in the Thunderbolt is designed to make room for the gun, including the nose landing gear, offset to the right of the aircraft so that the firing barrel lines up along the center of the airframe. Because the gun's recoil forces push the entire plane off target during strafe attacks, the gun itself is mounted laterally off-center, slightly to the port side of the fuselage center line, with the actively firing barrel in the 9 o'clock position when viewed from the front of the plane, so that the firing barrel lies directly on the aircraft center line. The firing barrel also has a very specific position, which lies just below the aircraft's center of gravity, being bore-sighted along a line 2 degrees below the aircraft's line of flight. This placement accurately centers the recoil forces, preventing changes in the aircraft pitch or yaw when fired.
Nice.
In terms of bombs, the Thunderbolt can also deliver a wide variety of these. It can carry up to 10 Maverick air-to-surface missiles. These are missiles that use a variety of guidance systems, including imaging infrared guidance and warheads, which include a high-penetration 26-pound conical-shaped charge warhead. Their range is more than 27 miles, or 45 kilometers. The plane can also carry the Sidewinder air-to-air missile, an all-aspect short-range missile.
And this was another thing where Michael Bay, who loves the military so much, fucked up. Because Michael Bay, during that scene that we were talking about, if I'm remembering correctly, used Sidewinder missiles to shoot at Scorponok, not Mavericks. Sidewinders are air-to-air, not air-to-ground. So, but then again, Michael Bay, he loves to beat his chest about the military, but doesn't actually know a whole hell of a lot about it. And not to mention, I actually watched this just for shits and giggles. I've watched that scene today, either today or yesterday, and I couldn't help but note the gun on the A-10 in that movie fired so slowly. This was it fired like it was coming out of like what like a World War II plane where the bullets just went that against the ground. Whereas if it was the real A-10, it would have been burr, and the entire ground all around Scorponok would have simply just exploded.
Cockpit, it looks like flying. This thing is like asking a man to juggle penguins while making love to a woman on fire on stage in front of the Queen.
What? Well, yeah, they needed a reason to pull up the AC-130. Yeah, you're right. Hey, and yeah, I mean, it was for the movies. Uh, I don't remember that scene in Smallville. It's been a while since I've seen Man of Steel, though.
Missile with a maximum speed exceeding Mach 2. On top of this, the Warthog is capable of deploying a wide range of other weapons, like the LDGP Mk-82 500-pound bomb, 2,000-pound Mk-84 series low high drag bombs,
Ah,
500-pound general purpose bombs, BOU-1 and BOU-27B Rockeye 2 cluster bombs, cluster bomb unit CBU-5271,
nice.
combined effects munitions, and mine dispensing munitions. It's also capable of releasing laser-guided electro-optically guided bombs, infrared countermeasure flares, electronic countermeasure chaff, illumination flares, and jammer pods. On top of being lethal, the plane has also been designed to survive. It's battle-hardened to an exceptional degree, being able to survive direct hits from armor-piercing and high-explosive projectiles up to 23 millimeters.
Oh,
It has double redundant hydraulic flight systems and a mechanical system as backup if hydraulics are lost. The single-seat cockpit is protected by all-round armor with a titanium structure up to 3.8 centimeters thick to increase the pilot's survivability. The cockpit has a large bulletproof bubble canopy, which gives good all-around vision. The pilot can utilize a heads-up display, which is used for targeting and weapon aiming, a half-quick secure radio communication system.
now, what we're seeing here with these displays, I am suspecting that the cockpit that we saw earlier was a previous gen cockpit. Because if you look, it does not seem like there are as many switches and dials anymore. So I'm thinking we were seeing that massive array of switches and dials. Yeah, this looks like it's the updated version. So probably what we saw was an earlier gen version of the cockpit, which is still fucking impressive because they were flying it back then. But this obviously is much better. It looks like they're seated much closer up to the front. It's a primarily digital display. So yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping they got a better seat too, instead of just like a metal thing with a cushion on it.
Display, which is used for targeting and weapon aiming, a half-quick secure radio communication system, inertial navigation, and a tactical air navigation system. Over the years, the A-10 aircraft was upgraded with the Embedded Global Positioning System inertial navigation system, which pinpoints the exact location of the aircraft. For thrust, the plane has two TF-34GE-100 non-afterburning turbofan engines, courtesy of General Electric, which supply 9,065 pounds of thrust each. The location of the engines, high on the fuselage, allows the pilot to fly the aircraft with one engine damaged. In fact, the A-10 has been designed to be able to fly with one engine, half of the tail, one elevator, and half of a wing missing. The Warthog can be serviced and operated from
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? The pilot can fly this thing with half a fucking wing missing? Holy shit! This thing is a fucking beast. This thing is more of a beast than I realized. Like, I knew things about the A-10. I am learning things today. I am learning lessons about this aircraft. Holy shit! This aircraft, I've already been impressed with this. I'm getting even more impressed.
austere bases with limited facilities near battle areas. Many of the aircraft's parts are interchangeable left and right, including the engines, main landing gear, and vertical stabilizers. The A-10 Precision Engagement Modification Program from 2006 to 2010 updated all A-10 and OA-10 aircraft in the fleet to the A-10C standard. The United States Air Force completed a project to re-wing a portion of its A-10C fleet on July 25, 2019. This project began in 2007 when Boeing received a $1.1 billion contract to provide 173 sets of wings. The new
Oh shit. Boeing? Uh-oh. Well, they're not, it's just the wings. They're not doing anything else. Maybe they'll be okay.
New wings are expected to last for up to 10,000 equivalent flight hours without requiring a depot inspection, and will permit the modified aircraft to remain in service through 2030 or beyond. Another project to provide 112 additional wing sets for the remaining A-10Cs was funded in fiscal year 2018. The service is acquiring the wing sets under the A-10 Thunderbolt Advanced Wing Continuation Kit program. A long-held ambition to re-engine the A-10s is not included in current plans. New part suppliers with modern techniques may help restore the original engine thrust of the General Electric TF-34 engines, rather than the slight detune that the aircraft currently operates with. Specifically designed for close air support, its unique combination of large and varied ordnance load, long loiter time, accurate weapons delivery, austere field capability, and survivability has been invaluable to the United States and its allies over the years. Across a career of several decades, the Thunderbolt has participated in Operations Desert Storm, Southern Watch, Provide Comfort, Desert Fox, Noble Anvil, Deny Flight, Deliberate Guard, Allied Force, Enduring Freedom, and Iraqi Freedom. Together, the experience gained in the field, plus a host of capability upgrades, will keep the A-10 at the forefront of the United States Air Force Close Air Support mission for at least another decade, and likely substantially longer. A lot will depend on whether or not the U.S. Air Force decides to mount another attack on the Thunderbolt II fleet. But with new investments being made to recapitalize the A-10 force, and with reduced interest in a successor or new light attack platform, all indications are that the A-10 will not be going away anytime soon. What are your thoughts on the A-10? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to Military World to get our latest videos straight to your notifications.
Shadowplot, I'm going to say that more than likely, Canada does not have any of them. I do not recall hearing about Canada having any of them. Well, that was cool. I learned a few things about that one that I did not know about the A-10. That was great. And you know what it makes me think? Why has there not been a Hollywood movie about an A-10 pilot? Like, why is it like? Why has there not been out? We've had Hollywood movies about, with Top Gun with the F-14. We've had movies with the F-16. We've had movies about the Apache. Why not have? Well, no, they've done like Flight of the Intruder. Firebird had the Apache. Why not do a movie about an A-10 pilot or an A-10 squadron? Yeah, you wouldn't have any dogfights, but you'd have like cool air-to-ground combat. And I mean, how much more like, and have it like with where you have the sound of the gun sounding accurate. Like, make it accurate. Alistair, probably because it was I know that movie. I have that movie on my computer. And I think it's a great movie. It's probably because I'd say it came out close to the time of Top Gun, and Top Gun kind of overshadowed it. That would be my guess. Let me see. Hang on a second. Hang on, let me check something. So Firebirds came out in 1990. Top Gun came out in 86. So Top Gun came out 4 years beforehand. So they probably didn't market it very well. So that's why I'd say Firebirds probably was not well known. They probably didn't market it very well. Even though it's a good movie. I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. But like, okay, let us put it aside. Put aside the fact that it would be a male or female lead. Put that aside completely because point blank, it does not matter. Does not matter if the lead is male or female. Do not care. Make a movie about an A-10 squadron. Show how beastly this plane is when it comes to what it can do in air-to-ground combat. Like, and for once in a movie, show what the actual gun can do and what it sounds like. Don't do this bullshit like what Michael Bay did, where he nerfed the fuck out of a gun in both sound and effect. Like, show an A-10 what it can actually do and what it actually sounds like. People would fucking love that kind of movie. They would. And it would not have to be anything complicated. It's basically just another variant of a Top Gun style movie. Where they have to do a mission where they have to go deep into enemy territory and deliver like bombs in enemy territory or something. It's easy. It would be an easy movie to make, and it would be an easy movie to sell, especially in the United States. Hollywood, I know you're not watching, but if you're watching, make a fucking A-10 Squadron movie. A realistic A-10 Squadron movie, like make the gun actually look and sound realistic. Well, and that's what I'm saying, house guests. Like you can use it like as a support or as a bombing run. Like it could be, like you don't need to have like a Top Gun level special mission thing. You can just have having an A-10 Squadron operating during Desert Storm. Hell, use the situation where an A-10 gets half its fucking wing blown off and still flies back to base. There's a fucking movie all on its own. There's a great fucking movie. Tell the story of that pilot, of their operations, before it happened, leading up to the point where half the wing gets blown off and they're actually able to fly the fucking plane back to base. Exactly. Like it's a real story. Why not tell that story? People would fucking love it, and it would be easy to do.